So the studio that made Days Gone has laid off like 30% of its staff and cancelled a live service game that they were working. This is just so insane to me because it really shows the ineptitude that's going on at the top of the games industry. Because it generally seems to be agreed upon that while Days Gone wasn't like some revolutionary masterpiece, it was good and most people enjoyed it. And if anything, it's become more popular over time. Like people have got more of an appreciation for it since it came out. Apparently, they did pitch a sequel to Sony, which was turned down in favor of a live service game, which has now been cancelled anyway. Just like Concord, just like The Last of Us Factions, which didn't even come out. What is wrong with just making a sequel to a game and having multiplayer? Why does it have to be a live service game? Like Hell, don't get me wrong, I love Helldivers, and Sony and Arrowhead have done really well with Helldivers, but not everything has to be a live service game. They could have just made Days Gone 2 with a faction style multiplayer mode. Last of Us fans are crying out for factions. Days Gone has very similar overall gameplay to The Last of Us. So they could have just made Days Gone 2 with a single player, maybe even like a co-op mode where you can like explore the open world with another person as well. You know, kind of like the Far Cry games let you do that, where it's got like a single player story, but then you can have like drop in, drop out co-op. They could have done that to like, you know, have more player retention and then just have like a side multiplayer mode that people will play for years. People are still playing the original factions in The Last of Us Remastered today just because it's that good. Like they don't play it because it's a live service. They play it because they enjoy it. So if Naughty Dog just ended up scrapping factions and going to work on something else anyway, Ben Studio, well, Sony obviously had to greenlight it, but could have just been like, okay, well, let's just make Days Gone 2, make it better than the first one, which people liked, but let's take it to the next level, and then include like a really good, solid multiplayer mode. And then from the business perspective on Sony's side, you get the best of both worlds. You get a first party, you know, single player game that they're well known for, which would probably sell decently well. And yeah, you know, they'll probably monetize it in some way, the same way Uncharted's multiplayer was monetized. I'm not necessarily saying I agree with multiplayer monetization. I'm just saying realistically, to keep them around these days, that's just the way it is. But it just seems like it was an open goal. Make a Days Gone sequel, make it better than the first one. There's been plenty of games where the first game has been like decent, but then the second one's been really good. That could have been this situation. And then Bend and Sony could have killed two birds with one stone by having like a decent multiplayer that they can support and monetize. Who's making the decision?